By the end of this video, you'll learn strats the pros use to get first place in all the maps of Fall Guys SS3. At the start, the best set of ramps to take are the ones that are off to the side or the ones that are pushed inward. This is due to the fact that the outer facing ramps slow your momentum slightly when you reach the very top of it. Regardless of whatever ramp you choose to take, once you reach the top portion of a ramp, jump dive to regain speed. Upon reaching the first loop, position yourself near the fence or the corner, then jump, dive, and rotate your joystick like you normally would. You do all of that very quickly, and if you did it correctly, you should receive a small boost. The key to doing this is to make sure you're near the corner and that you dive right when you kick the floor. This will take some time to get down, but it really saves you like 2 seconds at most, which in a speedrun is very important because every second counts. Once you reach the end of the upper ramps, you should see a small hump right in front of you. With the momentum that you have right now, you're actually able to jump over the hump. Then once you've jumped over the hump, quickly hug the corner, jump, dive, and rotate your joystick just like you did in the first loop section. Out of the 3 slides, the middle section or the one with the spinning blade is the fastest. Jump dive onto the green portion, and if you see a blade in front of you, jump dive, and by the time you get there, the blade will be out of the way and won't hit you. Now with common sense, you would think, oh, when you see an open gap, you should just jump dive over it. However, by the time you actually jump dive, the blade will actually come back around and it will hit you. My recommendation to be, when you see a blade right in front of you, that's when you jump dive, because by the time you get there, the blade will be out of your way. Either way, upon past the windmill or the middle section, once you've passed the second bollard, you just keep going straight off the slide and land at the bottom slide. No need to jump, just keep holding forwards because you'll have enough speed to make it to the bottom. We can apply this strategy to the side slides as well. No matter if you take the left side or the right side, take both boosts, and once you take the second one, keep going straight and drop down until you reach the bottommost level. At times, you'll find yourself only being able to go down one level due to a lack of speed. You probably landed very sharply and your momentum just got cut in half. The middle line will lead you to the real portal every time. All you have to do is find the middle line, which there's only one of them, and then just follow it. The cubes on the floor do not break up the line. Think of them as a line extender of sorts. So when you see a cube on the floor, don't change directions, just keep moving until you find the real wormhole. Sometimes the path will be fairly obvious and straightforward, and other times it'll take you on a roundabout journey. Either way, following the middle line will lead you to the real wormhole every time. While I do advise you do this with caution, you could just follow behind people, especially groups of people, but I recommend you learn to read the lines yourself. It will take some practice, but eventually it'll be second nature to you. If you happen to get the wrong portal, you can just jump off the map and it'll respawn you back to the furthest section you've reached. And also, just a reminder, this trick does work as of the 9.0.0 patch of Fall Guys, and I could see Meteoronic adding an invisible wall so you won't be able to fall anymore. But if you've seen this tip, it most likely means it's still in the game. A really useful tip that I just learned because of viewers like you. Thank you. Once you reach the final room, I recommend you turn on nicknames, and if someone goes into a portal and qualifies, you'll know it's them and you can follow them into the portal that they went into. What I'll sometimes do is I'll look in the slide into the distance, and if the person who went into a portal ends up on the slide, it means they got the wrong portal and I shouldn't go there. Did you know you can actually hide under this teal ramp? Seriously, no amount of blast balls will make you even budge. It can also fit 2 players comfortably, though make sure your back isn't facing the gap, otherwise someone could push you off the map. The water rises, albeit very slowly, so you'll have to run to the top part of the map eventually, though the match will be well over before it rises. Just make sure you aren't in one place for too long. Most of my eliminations are due to me being in an open area like the slime slide, and in this particular area right here, which has a spawn for a blast ball. And speaking of the blast ball, the best way to eliminate a player is to throw the blast ball to the sides of a player rather than straight on. If you hit them from the sides, they'll go flying off the map essentially, and if they happen to be near an open area, this will definitely work. This also works great in blast ball too, by the way. The upper path is a trap, and what I mean by that is, in its current form, the upper path by itself only gives out 6 points, and while you do get double the points if you take the upper path versus the bottom path, it is significantly slower. Whereas if you take the bottom path, you may get 3 points. You do get 5 if you count the 2 hoops at the very beginning, but you get to the middle section really quickly. If you take the bottom path and you quickly get to the middle, you get that 1 point and you get a golden hoop point. You will then get 6 points, or the same amount of points you would have gotten if you went to the upper path by itself, but you are significantly ahead and it is much faster. Also, out of the 3 slides, the side path, while it does give you 8 points, it is significantly slower than the middle path. And if you take the side path, you would have to constantly jump over gaps, which could potentially slow you down slightly. The middle path is faster and also gives you 8 points, or the same amount of points you would have gotten if you just taken the side slides. Though on the side path, you can get an extra point if you're able to get the hoop that's on the very extreme sides, but that's very tricky to get consistently. So currently, the best path is the bottom and middle. portal. Once you reach the wormhole, jump dive into the hoop, but aim your character at the floor and you won't ragdoll upon going into the wormhole. Just make sure you hit the floor right before going into the portal. If you find that a bit tricky to do or you just can't get the timing right, here's a much easier strat you can pull off. Jump into the hoop, then right when you're about to hit the portal, dive, and you'll get the same effect, but it's slower than the first strat. If you just jump dive into the hoop without landing on the floor and you just belly flop into the portal, you'll ragdoll. So just make sure you either hit the floor before getting into the wormhole or you dive before you go into the portal. Once you reach the middle of the map, you'll need to go through the middle hoop on both laps. If you get a boost, you can jump dive directly into the hoop, but you may need to jump dive on the floor again to start sliding. Otherwise, you'll just be running forwards. Oh yeah, and even if you just use a ramp and you jump dive onto the hoop, you may need to also kick the floor to start your slide animation again. Once you've accumulated 32 points, you just aim for the golden hoop in the middle, and if you did it this way, you'll get first place or you'll place in top 5 every time. The way Kraken Slam works is, if you jump on a pattern tile 3 times, it'll sink down and a tentacle will spawn in its place. Then once a tentacle detects a person that's adjacent to it, it will then activate and then it will hit you. If the tentacles don't see anybody near it, it will not activate. The best thing you can do is to not hit the pattern tile, but that would assume everyone else is the same as well, which we know won't happen. There are multiple ways to know well in advance when a section is about to tilt. If you feel the tiles rumble underneath you, that means it's about to flip. However, this is one of the weaker ways to tell when a section is about to flip, because in order to feel a rumble, you actually have to be on the tiles itself. If the tentacles all go back down, that's a sign that it will tilt soon. However, by far the best way to tell if a zone is about to flip is when you see a giant tentacle grab one of the 2 handles. When it grabs it, it means the zone is about to move. The reason why I call this the best way is because you can tell from a distance what zone is about to move just based on if a tentacle actually grabbed the handle or not, especially near the end when 3 sections can potentially flip. A strat that you can perform is, you can stand on the edge of a tile with 2 tentacles facing you and jump right when one of the tentacles smacks the tile and it won't hit you off the tile. This is quite hard to time and I have trouble myself doing it consistently, but I thought it was worth a share. In general, towards endgame, I would recommend running around in a circle and the tentacles won't be able to hit you. Heck, if you just move quickly, the tentacles will not be able to hit you. So don't be afraid of jumping around in one section really quickly. And once you've seen a zone come back up, go there and keep an eye out for the giant tentacle to see what zone is about to tilt. I will say, body blocking is quite the problem in this map, so be careful when trying to make jumps. You could hit someone and sink as a result. Also, grabbing is a big issue in this map. Try not to stand still for too long, otherwise someone could come to your tile and grab you, because they could see you as a weak target. If you do see someone grabbing you, just grab them back and they might fall instead of you. I would usually try and grab them from the sides so that they have no way to grab you back. If you try and jump away, they might grab you as you're about to jump and you'll sink down as a result and die. So just wait until they leave, though I will say it's more easier said than done because you could be really nervous or just pressured because there are tentacles around you, but just wait. You'll sometimes see 2 players engage in a grabbing duel. You could third party potentially kill both players if they happen to be near an edge, of course. Though if they're not near an edge, I wouldn't bother grabbing them.